I mean,
we have to start putting on these depth charts, QB1, QB2, QB3, EQB1, EQB2, EQB3. There's too many guys injured, even with nothing the passer, even with intentional grounding rules that, for the most part, let them throw it wherever they want to throw it. Josh Allen found out the hard way last night that sometimes
he got away with one too last night too, though. But
still, even with the rules where they are, it's amazing how many quarterbacks are injured. It's amazing how many bad quarterbacks are playing. All due respect, we know it's a tremendous accomplishment to get to the NFL and play in a game. But when it just seems like you're overwhelmed, when it seems like they have to strip the game plan down to nothing, when it seems like you can't do anything, when you can't hit an open receiver, when you can't process the information, we know how difficult it is. The point is, it's one of the most skilled jobs in all of sports.
I think that's what
and there aren't enough who can do it at a high level.
That's right. It's being magnified right now a little bit. You know, we see the great quarterbacks, what they do and everything like that. But, yeah, you're right. And I think that's, that is the point that comes across, at least to me, is that just, quarterback in the NFL, it's one of the coolest jobs you can have in sports. It's the most important job you have in sports. But I think when you put it together, a human being with the proper skill set to be a successful NFL quarterback, there's not a lot of those humans walking around in the country. There's not. You got to have the size, that part of it. You got to be a natural thrower. You got to be a much above average athlete, right? Maybe not an above average athlete for NFL football players, but for the rest of the guys in, town or at the gym or YMCA or whatever else, you got to be smart, like you're almost like a nerd and like a book smart school nerd type of guy, which is different in the locker room. But of course, that's helps you what you said, the processing and all that. You got to be cool and calm under pressure. You got to be physically tough to hang in there.
You got to be able to take a freaking pounding.
Exactly. So that's where
a pounding.
Yeah, we're saying it's
like
special
your dad
there.
took in the 80s.
That's right.
At least they don't play on concrete anymore.
No, I know. It's the sport is still brutal, as we see. We see it week in and week out. There's just the money's too big. The sport's too big. It's become too famous to where guys come in like kamikaze more now than ever before. That's where I will challenge people when they go, well, it's not like the old days. It might not be as far as like some of the brutality of it a little bit, but the actual size, speed, violence, safety's coming in to clean the hole out and just going, I don't care what happens to me or you or anybody. That's where the game has gone to a different level.
We've gotten rid of the old school kill shots.
Hits, right.
But it's still large, well-muscled body hitting another large, well-muscled body. It's Newtonian physics. Something's got to give. And when you're the quarterback, you are doing all of your work in the direction opposing everyone coming at you.
Yeah.
So the forces are magnified. We see the hand injuries, the thumb injury from Matthew Stafford last week. You are whipping your hand.
Yeah, you're in a lot of vulnerable
blind
positions.
Into helmets and shoulder pads and arms. Mm-hmm. It's amazing it doesn't happen more often.
Yeah, it is.
It really is. It's amazing there aren't more injuries, but we're kind of at a point where, it builds up. I mean, tonight, Monday Night Football, Justin Herbert, Aaron Rodgers. Oh, no, that was settled 8 weeks ago.
Right.
Kirk Cousins, torn Achilles tendon. Just concussions and this and that, and you're getting down on the depth charts. And it makes it exciting when these quarterbacks play well, but in a lot of these games, I mean, Clayton Tune, what the I'm sorry, but 58 yards of offense
I know.
In an NFL game in 2023, not 2013, or not 1923, sorry, or 2013, not 1923. I had trouble subtracting 100. I subtracted 10. But it's 58 yards of offense?
Yeah, I know. It's well.
Why didn't they play Kyler Murray in that damn game? He's healthy.
I don't know. They obviously wanted to
Tanks
move on.
For nothing.
They obviously
Tanks
would have been
for
more
everything.
competitive. That's really what it is. Tanks for everything. Who knows? They're positioning themselves. I mean, poor Clayton Tune having to go to Cleveland to make your first start. It doesn't get much worse or harder than that. So I felt for him being in that situation.
Why did he trade Josh Dobbs?
Well, I think
Josh Dobbs was threatening to screw up the whole Tank thing. I mean, they weren't losing badly, and they beat the Cowboys.
Yeah, right.
Hey, you're too good. Hey, we got to trade you. You're a little bit too good.
Yeah.
Just a little bit too good.
Well, we're seeing here right now with the teams that are left, the elite teams in football, their quarterbacks are healthy. And, they're high-functioning offenses, and we'll see where it goes from there.
For now.
We'll see. I do have to mention, that Jim Irsay clip, that was a special dance moves right there. That was hilarious. I got a giggle out of watching that.
Jim Irsay had reason to be happy. And I thought, and you thought, did you think? No, you thought the Colts were going to win. That was one where we disagreed and you were right.
Yeah.
I just thought Frank Reich would have
something
a year's worth
sleeve.
of pent-up frustration
Right.
after getting shoved out erroneously.
Yes.
Because Jim Irsay had this Jeff Saturday fantasy that this guy who's never coached is going to come in and be the guy that pulls it all together, and it was a disaster, and at least he didn't give him the job moving forward.
Yeah.
I thought he was going to, and thought that just with time.
Oh, look at it. There it is. Look. I love it. The locker room's going to love this. I mean, of course, they're watching. It's an old, an old white guy listening to young hip-hop music, right? The locker room always gets a kick out of that. And then some of the moves he's busted out and trying to be one of the guys. And it's awkward and funny. But I give him a lot of credit for doing that in front of the group. Those are the kind of things that, he's going to get made fun of in the locker room when he's not there a little bit, but it's also going to make, like, when he walks in the locker room the next time, everyone's like, oh, hey, coach, hey, Jim Irsay, what's up? Because it's just like he let his hair down a little bit.
Anything that an owner of an NFL team can do to come off as normal
To relate, right?
is a plus.
Yeah.
Because they operate in a completely different reality than the rest of us. I would love to have that much money and power to know what it's like to have to try to relate, but they just are operating, like I said,
world.
It's a different world altogether.
It is.
And, it's nice to see them acting normal and having a good time, and Jim Irsay was having a good time in a game that I didn't think the Colts were going to win. And the Colts are one of those teams, and you're a big believer in Shane Steichen.
I am.
I mean, Gardner Minshew finally got it together. Well, I'm sure we'll talk about that at some point. Not one of the biggest games of the day.
No, definitely
but,
not.
Panthers are done if they weren't already. Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.